This is the Internet Web Plain Talk. This program is designed for people who know nothing about the Internet and the web, like me. And the purpose in doing this show is to say, as its title suggests, in plain talk, what it's all about, where it's going, how it affects people in Westchester. You don't have to be a techie. You don't have to know anything. And if you do, hopefully this program will help you to learn more. My guests today are two people who are bringing the Internet and web to a very strong level of consciousness in Westchester. They are Mitch Freedman, who is the head of Westchester Library System, and Jacknis, who is the chairman of WATPA. And I'll say it once in its long term, and then we'll refer to it as WATPA, the Westchester Alliance for Telecommunications and Public Access. And I welcome you both to the show.
Glad to be here.
So we'll go through my laryngitis, and I'll ask you the first question. Where's the Internet and the web going? We hear so much about it.
Well, my own view is that it's obviously going to affect almost everything that people do. What you have really is a means now for people to have access to information anywhere around the world, and for them to provide information to people anywhere around the world. So it has an impact on education, on people learning about healthcare issues, about being successful in their businesses, small businesses or large businesses, on their entertainment ultimately. And what's interesting is a lot of this people are aware of now because of the World Wide Web. The Internet's been around for a while. What the World Wide Web did was to make it easy for people to use the Internet. And that has had a dramatic consequence.
You mentioned the word entertainment. I don't see the web as an entertainment medium. I don't see it as a substitute for sitting in front of a television screen for 4 or 5 hours a night, although a lot of people are doing that.
That's right. And it's not traditional entertainment. You're absolutely right. You don't sit there and laugh at some prepared script. But it is taking time away from the kind of entertainment people used to indulge in. And some people find learning to be entertaining. This may seem very strange. Maybe it's not in the information age, and it certainly shouldn't be to a librarian. But they're fascinated in a way that they never were when they were in school.
One fundamental difference, I think, is people are entertained just by looking around the web. It certainly is a way for me not to go to sleep at night, because once I get on there, I'm just looking at it, and it's fascinating, and it's never ending. But the big difference between the entertainment from the web and the entertainment from television is that television basically is a passive enterprise for the individual, and going on the Internet or the web involves some decision-making and choices by the surfer, as they say, surfing the Internet. And the possibilities there, you can get entertainment, you can get jokes, you can read jokes and funnies if you want, you can get cultural information, you can get information about the local community. We can get into that later, but I guess the one thing I should say about the web, just to put a period on a basic description of it, unlike the previous year's use of the Internet, the World Wide Web gives us pretty graphical picture or image, and that's the dramatic change that's taken place. People can see images and get the benefits of what people are using in computers, say.
But Mitch, I said at the outset that this program is not a technical program.
Right.
So you don't really have to be a techie, as the term goes, in order to get on. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to own a computer, because libraries now have computers that have access through the Westchester Library System.
That's right, Norm. I'm really pleased that you asked me that. There are a number of libraries in which graphical interface computers are installed.
Technical term. What does that mean?
That means the pretty pictures on the screen instead of just lots of text. That's quite boring to read.
They're easy to use. That's the bottom line. I mean, they have the pretty pictures, but basically what it is you have a screen that almost looks like a television screen to you, and all you do is you point at a particular part of it and say, I want that. And miraculously, that thing comes back to you. And that's all you need to know.
You know, a lot of people...
To finish the question about the libraries, though, we have a number of these in libraries, and they're free to the public to use. There's 31 of them in the 3 libraries libraries that comprise the Yonkers Public Library, and from the day they went in there, and there's a bunch at the New Rochelle Public Library, and from day one, they were filled up, and where they're in use, the librarians and the library people are having a tough time getting people off of them so the next people who are waiting can come on.
Well, I just want to comment on that.
Sure.
I go into the Yonkers Library. I go into a lot of libraries. I'm a library buff. I find that they may be in use, but people are not sitting there in front of it for a long time. They're using it and moving on. Mm-hmm. You can always get one in the Will Library in Yonkers. I have found that to be so. But let's get some basics here. What's WATPA? What is it all about? WATPA is WATPA.
WATPA is WATPA. WATPA actually started before all this stuff got into the public consciousness, before anybody was talking about the World Wide Web and the Internet. We are a citizens group. Basically, our concern when we started a few years ago was we wanted to make sure Westchester County wasn't detoured off the information superhighway. Mm-hmm. And so we wanted to try to raise a level of consciousness about these issues in the county, try to help citizens in the county address the impact of all this on their lives.
Who belongs to WATPA?
Average citizens. We have a range of people, from people who know a lot about computers to people who have no knowledge at all about computers, and
including me.
And that's right. And just think it's important, or people have expertise in other areas like lawyers or doctors or whatever. And we come together because of our common interest in the community we live in this county, and in our desire to make sure that we take full advantage of this technology and also understand what its impact's going to be.
And part of this alliance has been the joining together of the Westchester Library System with WATPA. In what way? What's that?
It's a partnership. The 90s is a time of partnerships, and we're thrilled to have this alliance. WATPA currently has the resources, the human resources that are needed to accomplish an objective that Westchester Library System has, and an objective that WATPA has had from its outset. We both want to get community information available through computer terminals to everybody in Westchester County. And so it was a natural for WATPA to get together with WLS because we put terminals, and we will be putting terminals all over the county. Where we got together with them, with the staffing and our budgeting at this point, we don't have a person who could sit there and make the calls to all the community agencies and organizations. Give us your data. We'll put it on the World Wide Web. We'll put it on the Westchester Library System homepage.
How does that work? You're doing that now, aren't you?
We're doing it, and we're doing it in partnership with WATPA. Norm has given a lot of his time freely. A gentleman named Bill Langham has worked with him, and they've collected information from 4 organizations now. There's a new one now, who are on our community information homepage. WATPA is doing most of the work of maintaining that page.
You mentioned a term, community information homepage. Explain what that is.
Well, WLS and WATPA had this goal of providing community information to everybody. One of the things that we're uniquely qualified to do in Westchester County is to get information about Westchester County. Other people can get information about the rest of the world, but it should be done in Westchester County by Westchester County organizations. So that's what we're doing. We want to get, for example, and maybe that's the easiest way to say, T-Town reservations, education schedule is available. The schedule through the end of the year is available for the Emlyn Theater in Mamaroneck.
And Carramore, I know.
Carramore, we provided a link to. So, and where people have established websites, we're going to be providing links to them.
You mentioned the word link. Let's explain that.
Okay. Well, the link is what's great is it's highlighted in color and underlined on the pretty pictured page for easy use. We say Carramore, and if someone wants to find more information about Carramore, they point to it using the pointing device and say enter and click the mouse, and up comes Carramore.
I think for people to understand this, once you're connected to the internet from your home computer or from the library, you literally are in a network of millions of computers around the world. Now, unless you're very technically expert, you won't know how to get to those. But the advantage with this kind of situation is we have Carramore are listed there. And as far as you're concerned, that's actually sitting in the library, even though it's not really. So you don't need to worry where that computer is. You get the information. It's that easy.
And we're providing links to, I just gave a list of, I saw a short list in a New York City publication of African-American history, cultural, social, music, entertainment sites. And that's the kind of thing we want to pick up and do for all the people in our community and the major areas of study and interest, so they don't have to know all these sites. They just come to the Westchester Library System homepage and then be led to it. Some of our other plans, we want to be able to...
Now I noticed,
okay.
For example, when I went into the Westchester Library System community page, that listed under that is the Gannett Suburban Papers, who have established a page called Westchester Today, and you can go directly to them, but you can just go, as you say, you just point to it, and it's there, and it's yours. And we're going to do another program completely on Westchester Today and what Gannett is doing.
Well, the beauty of that, and what's really interesting about it, is that Gannett may overlap or not overlap with us, as may Caramore, but there's no ownership in this sense. All we have to do is put their name there and do the little programming inside the computer. People look at us, and they'll go to Gannett. They'll go to Caramore, and then have the full panoply, the full richness of all the things that these people make available. Caramore's got information about musical organizations all over the world, and Gannett's going to have community information from its perspective and with its goals, which is where we are also.
I want to bring this back, though, to the smaller organizations in Westchester, because that's part of the unique focus of the Westchester Library System's internet presence. We're sort of trying right now to extend an invitation to all nonprofit organizations around the county, particularly smaller ones that can't afford their own computers, to give us information about what they do. There's a lot going on here in this county that people don't know about. And unless you're a big company like Gannett, you can't afford to go on the internet yourself. And so this is why we've opened up this community information page. And it's extending. It's not just T-Town or the theaters, Paramount and Emelin. It's also recently we have a church, Unitarian Church, said, this is great. We're a nonprofit organization. Can we put information on? And we want to encourage that as much as possible.
One of the things I want to do on this program is to inform people who want to get information and also people who want to provide information with how they do it. Let's go back to this now. What do I need if I want to get into the internet from home?
You need to have a provider of access to the internet.
First, I need a computer.
First, you need a computer, right, sorry.
And
a modem.
And a modem, which is a telephone connection.
Right, a modem is a little box that sits between your computer and your telephone line, and it allows the computer to talk to some other computer over telephone lines, regular telephone lines.
And then you need?
And then you need a place to call, which is your internet access provider. There are probably about a dozen of those in Westchester County now. When we started, there weren't, but now there are, mostly in the lower part of the county. Some of the major national companies, Prodigy, Netcom, PSI,
America
Online have a presence in Westchester County.
CompuServe.
There are some local Westchester-only internet providers like WestNet.
So what do? You call them up and you say, I would like to go through you, and they charge you a certain amount of money.
And it can vary. The big companies like Prodigy and America Online charge $9.95 a month for 5 hours worth. The smaller companies may charge like $20 a month for almost unlimited time. So, it varies, depends on what your needs are. But basically, once you're there, most of these services have something they call a web service or a web browser. This is a piece of software that's on your computer. You just click something on your computer.
So basically, okay, I now have a provider, and I turn it on, and I dial the number, or it dials for me the number, and then what happens? I have a screen, and it tells me my choices.
It tells you some choices, right? And
then all I have to do is point.
And you all have to do is point. Right. And if you point to the World Wide Web, which is the thing that people commonly do on the internet, then it's like you've opened a door to the galaxy. Because unless you know where you're going, it's pretty overwhelming. I think one of the nice things about the Westchester Library System's internet server is that at least this is a place for you to get to that you can understand, that's local. You know about some of these institutions we have online. You know about the library card catalog. So that's a good first place for you to go to. There are others. It depends on your interests. But basically all you've done when you get that access is you now have the right to go to any one of these millions of computers. The hard part is choosing which of those computers you want to go to.
And that's where people spend hours and hours and hours, and to the extent that people leave the online services, certainly the more expensive ones, is because they realize how much it's costing them. So that's one of the things about the public library. We feel that we're the safety net for the citizens of Westchester County who either can't afford or for whatever reason do not have in their homes a computer modem and phone line access. So that as of now, access is being provided at no charge whatsoever to the World Wide Web, as well as a host of other information and technology services at your local public library.
Can I just say about access, this is really going to change dramatically over the next year. The local phone companies, the national phone companies are all interested in providing access to the internet. The cable companies are. In fact, there are people now in Westchester County who get their internet access through Cablevision.
That people should wait?
No.
Why not?
It can always change. It's very easy. You can start now, and if there's a better service that comes along in 6 months, it's quite easy for you to change services.
It's interesting that you said that's why people sit for hours just looking to find things. I'm on America Online, and on the credit slides, I give my email address, so if anybody wants to send me email about this program or about this subject, my email address is on there. It's very simple. It's nliss@aol.com, which is as simple as you can be. But I find that I have a great deal of difficulty in using up my 5 hours a month, and I'm on it a lot. Because I've learned how to do that, and I hope on this program that I will be able to convey to people how to get the maximum value out of the time you spend by finding what you want and doing it offline. Now, those are some things I'm going to point out.
Yeah, well, let me say how I'm using way in excess of 5 hours a month. My heaviest use is in the area of email. Now, out there on the internet are organizations called listservs, and I'm a big Frank Sinatra fan. And there's a listserv.
Explain what a listserv
right,
is.
That's what I was going to do. There's all these Frank Sinatra fans have information about them set up on a computer. This one turns out to Temple University, and so that they all can communicate with each other collectively and individually. So that if you join that listserv, you put in the command that says, make me a part of this, you will get all the messages that go into that listserv.
It's a mass mailing list for people who are interested in a particular subject.
But you can also go into something called a news group.
Right.
There's news groups too, but let me just finish where my 5 hours are. So that's my avocational interest. But professionally, I have I'm connected to New York Library Association's line. I'm connected to the listserv. I'm connected to Metro, which is a regional organization. The American Library Association Council, I'm a member of that. It's the organization responsible for all of the American Library Association's decision-making. I get communications through that.
Mitch, are you overwebbed?
Am I overwebbed? No, but I took the Sinatra one and put it in a separate place because there was like a feeding frenzy with his 80th birthday coming. It was going to up to 150, 200 messages a day.
Some people have said to me they don't want to get on it because it would just take too much time, and you become saturated because of the opportunities there and spend a lot of time.
It's funny. You get that initial impression, and I like Mitch, I've gone through these I guess, web sort of frenzies and then pulled back a little bit. What I find, though, is that you learn very quickly. If I have an assignment, I'm going to a new client or whatever on Monday, I can go on the web, I can do all kinds of research. Yes, I might be overwhelmed, but I'm actually getting a lot more done a lot quicker than I ever did in the past.
But that's the theme of this program, is how to get information as well as how to provide for those who do. I have talked to many people since I conceived the idea to do this program, and I find there are various categories. People who are afraid of it, people who are on it and don't know how to use it, and people who are on on it and using it, but not using it properly.
As another example of how it's used, my sister-in-law, my niece, the whole family has America Online codes. Plus, her sister has online codes.
What do you mean by code?
They have their own name.
Okay.
Like you gave your address, they have their own addresses. Forgive me for using the word codes, but they all have their own addresses. And people who I wouldn't take the time to phone because there's all the pleasantries you have to go through front and back. I've been engaging in ongoing communication regarding the library's meeting in San Antonio with many people, and we're sending sentences back and forth, but making decisions. And I just want to give this story. The woman who's our head cataloger, her son got a grant to do research in some far part of Asiatic Russia or Soviet Union on the Korean population in that area. It took a week's lead time for him to be able to make a phone call back home. He had access to a terminal at a university in that area and communicated daily with his father over the internet. So you can find your phone bill is going to go down for long-distance calling because you can communicate very directly through
A
it.
good example of what you're saying is I was in the library, and there was a man at the terminal next to me and his daughter, and he told me she had to do a report on Madame Curie.
Right.
And found a Curie homepage, which means everything you ever wanted to know about Curie.
I don't know if I ever told you this story. My daughter, who's now 9, last year, she had a project on the desert. That all the teacher said was, write something about the desert. And we went on the World Wide Web. And we tried to figure out where we learned about the desert. And I finally asked her, well, which desert in particular? She said, well, she thought it was the Sahara. I said, okay, I'll help you. That's in Africa. And we went to a site at the University of Texas where there are maps of all the world. And then we pulled out a map of Africa, and we looked at it, and we tried to figure out, well, what country could we communicate with? And finally, we looked at the map of Sahara, and we said Egypt is probably the most advanced country around the Sahara. So we then went to something called the unofficial homepage of Egypt, which was put out by university students in Cairo. And she found marvelous pictures of the desert. She found stuff she really didn't even understand. They were pictures of archaeological expeditions of where the Roman trading routes were through the Sahara
Is it
desert.
too much?
No. She learned a lot. I mean, it was amazing. And in fact, she ended up writing a letter to American teachers who were in Cairo through this facility, people she had never known before, asking them what it was like from an American point of view, and got back this mail, electronic mail from these folks, and brought it to her class, and it was fabulous from the kids' point of view.
On the point of too much, Norm, I think that, especially in the latter half of this century, there's an overabundance of information, and whether it's in print form or online, it's immaterial. There's just tons of information, far more than anybody needs or requires, but it's available. And two things. One is the librarian's role is to help you get the information you need without a lot of wasted energy. But the rest of it is you're doing your own research. You have to pick out and discard which magazines, which articles you don't want. And the same with the web. If she had looked it up in Encyclopedia Britannica, which maybe has the longest article on the Sahara Desert, there would have been information there she didn't want.
Yes.
But now if she looks up Encyclopedia the Britannica online, she'll get the current version of that article because they update these things continuously.
Well, you can pick out what you need is appropriate for your level. For her, the pictures were obviously important.
Before we run out of time,
okay,
I want to, we certainly are not going to explore in this program the full extent, and that's what subsequent programs will. But if people want to know more about WATPA and the Westchester Library System, what telephone number can they call?
Okay, we're the home site right now for the WATPA organization, so I'll give my phone number. I'll take the calls, and I'll make sure they're routed appropriately. And our phone number is 914-592-8214, and my extension is 223. But if you don't get the phone number, we're Westchester Library System in the phone book. We're located in Elmsford. That's where our headquarters is. So it's 914-592-8214, extension 223.
Now, we're going to put that up in the closing credits, and so people can write it down. Now, I just advise people that they should get a pen handy, because for those people who are online now, we're going to give both your online address and yours. So, Mitch Freedman, how do they reach you by email?
Okay. I'll say this slowly. It's Freedman, and my name is spelled Freedman, then the @ sign, then WLS dot or period LIB period NY period US. Freedman at WLS.lib.ny.us.
And
my email address is njacknis@ix.netcom.com. That's njacknis@ix.netcom.com. We also have a listserv for WATPA that people can feel free to join. That's at WATPA, WATPA, at westnet, WESTNET.com. WATPA at westnet.com. All you do is send a message to that saying subscribe. And you are then a member, and you can participate in these discussions and help form the future of Westchester County.
And that means that you will be on a mailing list so that all communications between all members of WATPA, you're all part of it. I know I get
That's right.
quite a bit of very interesting information about this whole subject.
And it ranges from administrative matters to policy issues.
You know, I started this program by saying, where is it going? And I think the answer to that, as we'll explore in future programs, is nobody knows. But we know that it's here, and we know that it's here to stay, and we know that it's going to affect all of our lives. And for people who really want to get onto it, this is the time to start learning it.
Absolutely true.
Is it overwhelming to you?
Well, no, it's not overwhelming. It's just that, we say we don't know where it's going. We're not beginning to tap into what's available already.
Let me tell you where we're going.
Well, the rate of change with technology is such that...
Let me tell you where we're going,
off
Mitch.
The air.
Off the air, because we run out of time. That's one of the things that you don't run out of. We have run out of time, and I thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
This program is called Internet Web Plain Talk, and I'm Norman Liss. We're exploring the Internet Web. My guests today have been Mitch Freedman, the head of the Westchester Library System, and Norman Jacknis, the chairman of WATPA. Until next time, keep on the computer and find the web.